Hi everyone, today I am here to talk about King Leopold's Ghost, a story of greed, terror, and heroism in colonial Africa by Adam Hochschild, or maybe Hochschild. I'm not quite sure how you pronounce his last name. But this is basically a book about all the atrocities committed in the Congo by the Belgians and King Leopold II, who was king of Belgium at the time and who just wanted money, which is a big shock, right? Oh my gosh, this book just like made me angry. Every chapter I read just made me angrier and angrier about how horrible people are, and it just got worse. Like every freaking chapter drove me insane. But that being said, like I feel like that's the point. Like you're not supposed to read about atrocities committed in the Congo and be like, well, that was a lovely story. Like you're supposed to read it and be shocked and be like, WTF. So I knew beforehand that Belgium had occupied, like, not occupied, they took over the Congo and colonialized it and did horrible things there. But like I had no idea to what extent and how awful it was, and that it was all because King Leopold II wanted money and was a freaking loser. Like, I did some research after reading the book, and none of his descendants have been like, yeah, he was a bad person. They're just like, what happened in the Congo was bad. And I'm like, just admit that your grandfather or great great grandfather or whoever, however he's related to like the current royalty in Belgium, just be like, yeah, he was a bad person. It's literally not that hard. Just did it myself. Like, oh my gosh. Ugh. If I learned one of my grandparents was doing crap like this, I'd be like, no, that's not okay. Bad person. Like, I don't get what the whole connection is. Also, like, sorry, this is just me ranting before I get to the actual book. If the royal family owns any palaces, I feel like, that were like built by money Leopold got from the Congo, I feel like they should open those to the public as like a museum of atrocities and like educational centers so that people learn that we shouldn't be doing this, because it's still a problem today. And I will like get to that because I thought the last line of the book was really powerful, and I will end with that. But anyway, that being said, it did take me a while to read it because it is a heavy story. It's not this light, fun adventure or anything like that. And so it did take me a while to read it because it was very, serious and awful and horrible. And I just wanted to like talk about some of the characters really quickly because it was very fascinating for me to learn about some things, like historical wise. For example, Henry Morton Stanley. This is a picture of him, by the way, right here. He's famous for being the guy who said Dr. Livingstone, I presume, when he found Dr. Livingstone in Africa. And as a kid, I'm like, that's like so funny. That's just like such a random, what a classical line. Racist, 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 horrible person. Both of them. Dr. Livingstone, Henry Morton Stanley, awful, horrible, awful people. Like, cannot emphasize how bad they were. Like, we should stop using this line as if it's some funny little thing, because like genocidal, racist, abusive, ugh, pieces of crap, basically. So that was really fascinating to me to learn like the historical context of that famous line that I used to think was like entertaining as a child. Now I'm just like, mother effers, man, you're making me angry. So, I mean, like soldiers were cutting off people's hands and feet and like using that as like a way to show that they've killed people. They were holding, so rubber was discovered in the Congo, and they were holding, women hostage so their husbands would go get more rubber in the woods. Just like horrible things. Just like burning villages, raping people, torturing people, like all the bad stuff, all the bad stuff. It was awful. The book itself was like really well written. I think it kind of dragged at some points. Like I feel like we're gonna call him Adam Hochschild, went off, because I don't know how to pronounce his last name, went off on this like whole chapter about Joseph Conrad and Heart of Darkness, which is about the Congo. But also, like, I just felt like that was like an unnecessary chapter because he just kept talking about like, and this guy could have been a model for Kurtz, who in the book is like the bad white colonial piece of crap man. And he's like, and this one could have been, but like maybe not, because Joseph Conrad was at the camp at a different time than this dude was. And I'm like, then why are we talking about this? Like, why are we going off on a random tangent on Heart of Darkness and, like, guessing who Kurtz could have been modeled after? Like, I just found that chapter totally unnecessary. Still talk about the bad people that were, like, in charge there, but, like, holy crap. Just totally unnecessary to go off on a tangent about Heart of Darkness with, like, your weird little theories about who Kurtz is based on. But anyway, that was just my thought. And then it did, like, it at the beginning, it did take a while. Like, there was a lot of, like, the political stuff and, like, the economic stuff, and, like, and King Leopold signed this paper, and then he signed this paper, and then he talked to this person, and I was like, I feel like that's, like, not, like, we don't need to know every detail, I felt like, at least on that end. I'm like, tell me more about all the crap that they were doing in the Congo with evidence of that, not because I like to hear about it, but because, like, that is what should be documented. We already know King Leopold's bad, right? We already know he just wants money and wants colonies. So, but other than that, I definitely suggest reading it because it's something that I heard about in history class, but we never really went into depth. And Adam Hochschild points out that we've basically forgotten that, like, a massive, like, genocide took place in the Congo. So we like to pick and choose. I feel like, especially in this day and age, we like to pick and choose which genocides we talk about. That sounds, like, really bad, but, like, it's true, you know? And so they just, like, it should be something that is still brought up. Hopefully, like, in Belgium, I've never been there, haven't researched it a lot, but hopefully they have, like, museums that are open or stuff that they talk about more. And I don't want to, like, just pick on Belgium because every European country, I'm from America. America also crap at the whole forcing natives out, being horrible to them. But, like, this book specifically was about Belgium. So, yeah. But, it just made me so angry. It was like a book where I was just like, people are horrible, everyone's horrible, every country that oppressed other ones, like, I'm over it, humanity sucks. But it was still a really powerful book, and like I said, I definitely suggest reading it because it's something that's not talked about today, and like I said, even in history classes, I was just breezed over, like, yeah, Belgium took over the Congo, it sucked, they did a lot of bad stuff. Even when I read Heart of Darkness, because I had to read that for school, I didn't understand what the book was about. And that could have been, like, because I didn't give a crap about reading Heart of Darkness. Like, now that I've read this, I might go back and read Heart of Darkness. Maybe. It definitely wasn't my favorite book. I thought it was quite boring. But that just could have been because I was forced to read it for school. But even then, as I was reading it, I didn't realize it was about the Congo. I was just like, yeah, this is, like, colonialism in Africa, and it was bad. But I didn't understand it as, like, based on Joseph Conrad's journey in the Congo. So that was interesting. So I definitely suggest reading it, even if you don't like history books, just to learn about a horrible thing that we don't really talk about anymore. And I don't really have a question for today. Just be good to each other. I don't know why humanity finds it so hard to be nice to each other. Like, who cares if we have different beliefs, whether that's religious, political, whatever. Like, we don't have to be mean to each other. Big shock. We don't have to tear each other down. We can be civil to each other. We can be nice to each other. And it just, I felt like this book, like, it drives me nuts that everyone, like, a lot of people are like, we're better than animals because we have reason. And I'm like, okay, tell me where the reason was in this when they were, like, beheading people in the Congo, like the white people, and then putting those heads up on stakes around their house to show off. Where's the reason in humanity in that? Tell me, please. So, yeah. It just makes me angry because we can't be nice to each other. It's literally not that hard to be civil to each other. If you don't agree with someone on something, you don't have to get in a fight about it. You can just step back and be like, hey, well, let's talk about something else. Like, I don't know, have you seen this movie? Have you read this book? Whatever. Like, it's not hard to be nice to each other, people. Like, brain explosion. Sorry, this was basically just like a long rant. I feel like I didn't talk about the book that much. But yes, read King Leopold's Ghost. Very good, very sad, very upsetting book, but still really well written, except for that chapter going off of Hard Darkness. But as promised, I was going to end with the last line because I do think, or the last couple sentences, that it was like a really powerful kind of punch in the gut type ending. So, whole book's about the Congo, about all the atrocities that were committed there, and it ends like this. At the time of the Congo controversy 100 years ago, the idea of full human rights, political, social, and economic, was a profound threat to the established order of most countries on Earth. It still is today. So that is the end of King Leopold's Ghost. Thanks for listening. Sorry, it was just a long rant about how humanity is awful, but honestly, guys, let's be better to each other. Thank you for listening. If you have any comments, if you know anything about like more historical references or anything about this, let me know down below. Like, subscribe. I try and release videos and book reviews whenever I can. Honestly, it depends on the time I have to read. So, yeah, but thank you so much for listening. Be nice to each other and have a great day.